Have you ever wondered why certain people just suddenly walk away from your life? Or why a relationship that once felt so deep and meaningful ended without warning? It can leave you heartbroken, confused, and asking Allah, why did this happen to me? But what if that wasn't a loss at all? What if it was protection? Yes, sometimes Allah, in His endless mercy, removes people from your life, not to hurt you, but to help you. Because while you were busy holding on to them, you couldn't see that they were standing in the way of your growth. You couldn't see that they were delaying your purpose, damaging your peace, and distracting you from your connection with Allah. In today's video, we'll talk about 5 powerful signs that Allah took someone away because they were blocking your growth, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, spiritually. These signs will help you understand what felt like rejection was actually redirection. So stay with us, and by the end of this video, your heart might finally find the peace it's been looking for. 1. You found inner peace. After they left, sometimes the most powerful sign that someone was not meant to stay in your life is the calmness you feel once they're no longer around. You may not notice it at first. In fact, you might cry, question your worth, or even feel like your entire world is falling apart. But once the storm inside settles, once the emotions calm down, something beautiful begins to happen. You feel peace. That quietness, that sense of relief, that soft sigh from your heart, that is not just coincidence. That is the mercy of Allah. When someone leaves you or is taken away from your life, the first feeling is almost always painful. You feel confused. You wonder why Allah allowed this to happen. You remember the good moments and start missing their presence. But slowly, without even realizing it, you wake up with a lighter heart. Your mind becomes quieter. The tension that used to live in your chest starts to fade. You start smiling more often. Your sleep improves. You feel safe in your own space again. This feeling is a special kind of peace. It's the type of peace that doesn't come from distractions or fake smiles. It's the peace that arrives only after Allah removes something or someone that was secretly harming your growth. It's hard to see it in the moment, especially if that person was close to your heart. But Allah, in His endless wisdom, always knows what's best for you, even when you don't. Sometimes we hold on to people because of how long we've known them, or we keep relationships going because we are scared of being alone. We convince ourselves that they are all we have, or we tell our heart to be patient even if the relationship is draining us. But Allah hears the conversations they have behind your back. Allah sees what you cannot. And Allah knows the intentions hidden in their hearts, even if they speak with the softest words. When you begin to feel inner peace after someone has left, it's a quiet signal from Allah that the person was not meant to be part of your future. Maybe they were constantly bringing you stress. Maybe they were not supporting your dreams. Maybe they didn't encourage you to grow or become closer to Allah. Whatever the reason, they were not sent to build you. They were blocking your progress. Peace is a gift, and when it comes after someone walks away, it's a sign that you were holding on to something that wasn't right for you. Think of it like this. Sometimes we are carrying heavy bags, and we don't even realize the weight of them until we finally put them down. Only then do we realize how tired we actually were. People can be like those heavy bags, draining your energy, blocking your blessings, and filling your life with silent stress. And when that peace finally settles into your life, cherish it. Don't rush to fill the empty space. Let Allah replace what was removed with something better, something more loving, more peaceful, more sincere. And while you wait, use that time to reconnect with yourself and your purpose. Focus on your prayers. Strengthen your bond with Allah. Chase your dreams, read, learn, heal, because when you have peace, you have everything. And when that peace comes after a person is gone, know this deeply, it was never them. It was always Allah protecting you, guiding you, and helping you grow. 2. They were distracting you from your Deen. One of the most serious ways someone can block your growth is by pulling you away from your Deen. When someone enters your life, they either help you get closer to Allah, or they become a distraction that takes you further away from Him. There is rarely an in-between, and when Allah loves you, He doesn't let anyone stay who is making your heart distant from Him. Sometimes we get caught up in relationships, friendships, or even circles where our faith starts to weaken. We skip prayers, we forget the Quran, we stop attending Islamic gatherings. We feel guilty inside, but we keep going because we've become emotionally attached. That person becomes more important to us than our own connection with Allah. And that's when the danger begins. What's scary is that it doesn't always happen overnight. It happens slowly, step by step. First, you miss Fajr. Then you stop making dua. Then you feel embarrassed to talk about religion around them. You begin to hide your values just to make them comfortable. You stop speaking the truth out of fear they'll walk away. And without even realizing it, you begin to lose parts of your identity just to keep them. But the truth is, anyone who makes you feel ashamed of your religion, your hijab, your beard, your morals, your beliefs, is not someone Allah wants in your life. When a person starts distracting you from the very one who created you, that's a clear sign of misguidance. That person, no matter how charming or close they are, becomes a barrier between you and your spiritual growth. And so, in His mercy, Allah takes them away. At first, it hurts. You feel broken. You ask, why me? You cry over the loss. But over time, you start noticing something strange. Your heart begins to soften again. You start feeling the need to pray. You pick up the Quran again, even if only for a few verses. You start listening to reminders. You begin missing Allah. And in those quiet moments, something becomes clear. It wasn't them you needed. It was your Deen you had lost. And Allah was bringing you back to it. When someone is taken out of your life, and as a result, you feel spiritually lighter, you return to your salah, you reconnect with Allah, then understand clearly they were not sent to build you. They were distracting your soul from the very source of light it needed. Distractions can come dressed in love, laughter, and promises, but they slowly rob you of your peace. They might not say, leave your religion, but their actions push you toward that path. If someone makes you feel like you have to choose between them and your faith, then they were never meant to stay. And if you still feel pain after their absence, don't let it deceive you. Healing takes time. But don't mistake temporary sadness for a wrong decision. Sometimes we mourn what was harming us. Sometimes our heart still cries over the very thing Allah saved us from. But trust that your soul knows the truth. Deep inside, you know you are better off. Your mind is clearer, your faith is growing. You feel closer to Allah. That's not weakness, that's victory. So when Allah removes someone who is distracting you from your Deen, be grateful. Because that's not just protection, that's love. Allah loves you too much to let you stay lost. He loves you too much to watch your heart attached to someone who is pulling you away from Him. This is your chance to reconnect with your real purpose, to rebuild your faith, to walk again toward the one who never left you, even when you were distant. Don't look back. Don't regret what was taken. Move forward with your head held high, because your Deen is alive again. 3. They were a source of constant negativity. In life, not all harm comes through loud actions or clear words. Sometimes, the most damaging people are the ones who quietly drain your peace. You may not even realize it at first, but deep inside, your soul starts to feel heavy every time you're around them. Their presence becomes a storm, not because of what they do openly, but because of the invisible weight they place on your heart. There are people who live in a mindset of constant negativity. Every conversation is filled with complaints. Every idea you share is criticized. Every success you achieve is met with jealousy or silence. They never speak words of encouragement. They rarely celebrate your growth. Instead, they focus on what's missing, what went wrong, or what could go wrong next. Being around such energy changes you. Without even meaning to, you start doubting yourself. You lose confidence. You hesitate before taking steps in life because their voice is always echoing in your mind. You begin to live carefully, not courageously. You dim your light so they don't feel insecure. You lower your excitement so they don't call you proud. Slowly, your inner spark starts to fade. This kind of environment is harmful for your heart and soul. It becomes impossible to grow when someone around you is constantly pulling you down emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. And when Allah loves you, He doesn't let you stay in that environment for too long. He removes the source of that pain. He clears the space around you so that your light can shine again. And so, Allah takes them away. He sees what you don't say. He hears your silent pain. He watches how hard you try to remain strong while someone constantly brings you down. You may not have the strength to walk away, so he removes them for you. It might look like a breakup, a fallout, or a sudden change in relationship, but it is a divine removal. Once they're gone, something beautiful begins to grow within you. You start laughing again. You rediscover your passions. You feel safe to dream, to express, to be yourself. The doubt that lived in your chest starts to disappear. Your mind becomes clear and your heart feels light. That is not random. That is healing. That is what life feels like when you're no longer carrying someone else's emotional darkness. You may even begin to realize how much energy you wasted trying to please someone who was never happy. How much time you spent overthinking their words, how much growth you delayed just because they kept planting seeds of fear in your mind. But don't be hard on yourself. You didn't fail. You were simply loyal. And your loyalty was tested by someone who couldn't handle your light. But Allah saw it all. And He responded by protecting you in the most silent and powerful way, by removing them. Now that they're gone, protect your peace. Don't chase the ones Allah pulled away. Don't try to rebuild what was breaking you. Instead, rebuild yourself. Step into the version of you that was always waiting to grow, but couldn't, because someone was constantly casting shadows over your light. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who bring you closer to Allah, who speak goodness, who celebrate your wins and guide you in your losses. Life is too short to keep company with hearts that don't want the best for you. And if you're still healing from their departure, that's okay. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding that their chapter had to end so you could begin yours. Let their memory be a lesson, not a prison. Thank Allah for the space He has created in your life, because now you are free to grow in peace. 4. Their presence was delaying your purpose. Every soul on this earth is created with a purpose. You are not here by accident. You were sent into this world with a reason. There is something special you are meant to do, something no one else can fulfill in quite the same way. But often, this purpose gets buried under distractions, noise, and relationships that are not aligned with your destiny. And sometimes, the very people you care about the most can be the reason you're stuck. It can be hard to see it while you're in it. You may think that person is helping you, supporting you, walking with you, but in reality, they are quietly delaying your journey. Maybe they keep you in comfort when growth requires challenge. Maybe they make you doubt your ideas or silence your voice. Maybe they discourage your dreams or push you toward a life that has nothing to do with what your heart was made for. You see, growth needs space. It needs focus, courage, and time. But when you are surrounded by someone who always keeps you in the same cycle, you can't move forward. Your wings are tied. Your energy is spent fixing, pleasing, or trying to be accepted. And your purpose, it stays waiting in the background. Allah did not create you to just survive. He created you to contribute, to inspire, to rise, and to make a difference. But that can't happen if you are always being pulled away from what you were meant to become. Sometimes, the biggest blockage to your purpose is not failure, but the people around you. And that's when Allah, in His infinite mercy, steps in. He removes that person. And when He does, it might feel like a heartbreak. You may not understand it at first. You might cry and beg for them to return. But slowly, something begins to shift. Your mind starts focusing. You feel pulled toward a different path. Your heart starts waking up to something bigger. And before you know it, you're doing things you never imagined you could do. You start exploring your goals again. You begin acting on your ideas. You develop your skills. You seek knowledge. You reflect deeper. You take the steps you were too distracted to take before. That change in momentum, that's not just life moving on. That's purpose unlocking itself. If someone's presence in your life always kept you from rising, from finding your true voice, your true path, your real strength, then their absence is not a tragedy. It is freedom. It is a new beginning. Maybe you were meant to start a business. Maybe you were meant to write, teach, help others, build, serve, lead. But as long as you were busy proving your worth to the wrong person, your hands stayed tied. Now that they are gone, you are free to focus on the real mission. You are free to answer the call that's been in your heart all along. And if you're still hurting from their departure, remember this. Allah never takes without wisdom. He saw what you couldn't. He saw how they were delaying your light. And because He wants you to live with purpose, not just survive through comfort, He removed them. So don't go back to what Allah has pulled you out of. Don't stay stuck in the sadness of separation. Use this time to rise, to reconnect with your goals, to step fully into who you were created to be. The world needs what you carry, and now you have the space to grow it. 5. Their behavior was silently pulling you away from Allah. Sometimes the people around us don't push us into sin directly. They don't tell us to stop praying or to ignore the Quran or to disobey our Creator outright. But they do something even more dangerous. They silently and slowly pull us away from Allah through their influence, their lifestyle, and their habits. And because the shift is subtle, we don't notice it at first. We think we're just spending time, having fun, being social, when in reality, our heart starts becoming heavier, our soul starts feeling distant from Allah, and our connection with the Deen quietly weakens. These kinds of people are the most difficult to recognize. They don't seem bad on the outside. They might be kind, supportive, even loving. But when you spend more time with them, you find yourself missing Fajr, talking about things that don't benefit your soul, and chasing the dunya instead of focusing on your hereafter. You laugh more with them than you remember Allah with them. You plan worldly things with them, but you don't remember the hereafter. Slowly, your mind, your focus, your heart, all drift away from your original path. You begin to prioritize their opinion over what pleases Allah. You delay your prayers, you lose the softness in your heart, and you stop surrounding yourself with righteous reminders. In such situations, when Allah loves you deeply, He steps in. He removes that person, even if it hurts. He distances you, even if you beg Him to bring them back, because Allah sees what you don't. He sees that your soul was losing its light. Your heart was becoming distracted. Your dreams of Jannah were slowly being buried under casual laughter and temporary moments. Allah wants to protect your soul more than your comfort. So even if you feel confused, betrayed, or broken, this disconnection was for your salvation. When we lose someone like this, our immediate reaction is usually sadness. We cry. We feel abandoned. We feel like something important has been taken away from us. But over time, when the heart is silent and the soul starts to breathe again, we realize the truth. Their presence was costing us our peace, our prayer, and our purpose. When they left, we returned to Allah. When they distanced themselves, we fell in love with the Quran again. When they walked away, our dua became deeper, our salah became sincere, and our heart started beating with the remembrance of Allah again. We must trust that Allah sees beyond the surface. We only see their smile. Allah sees their influence. We only see the good moments. Allah sees the silent damage to our deen. So when He removes someone, He's not being harsh. He's being merciful. It's His way of saying, "Come back to me. I miss hearing your voice in dua. I miss your presence in the last part of the night. I miss the purity in your heart that was getting buried under the noise of the wrong people." The best part is that when Allah takes such people away, He doesn't leave us empty. He fills that space with peace. He gives us clarity. He brings righteous people into our life. He places sincere friends who remind us of Jannah, of humility, of patience, of taqwa. People who care more about our akhirah than our approval. People who help us become better Muslims, one day at a time. Allah always acts out of love. And sometimes that love is shown in the form of removal. It might not feel like love in the moment. It might feel like loss, grief, and heartbreak. But later, you'll look back and say, "That was the best thing that ever happened to me." Your heart will thank you. Your soul will thank you. And most importantly, your hereafter will thank you. Sometimes, what breaks your heart is actually what saves your soul. When Allah takes someone away, it's never without a reason. He saw their true intentions. He knew what you couldn't. And He removed them because your peace, your growth, and your connection with Him matters more than anything else. So if someone walked away, or if life forced a separation you didn't understand, trust that it was part of a higher plan. You didn't lose. You were redirected. And now you're free to step into the version of you that Allah always meant for you to become. Let go of the pain. Embrace the lesson. And walk forward with trust, knowing that Allah is guiding every step, even the ones that felt like setbacks.